Hello and welcome to the Irish Aesthete. Previously, I was talking about John Talbot, who in the 1850s was so determined to secure possession for his family of Mount Talbot in County Roscommon that he accused his wife of adultery and divorced her. A fortnight after his second wife gave birth to a much longed for son, John Talbot died, as did his widow a few years later, leaving little Johnny Talbot an orphan. Despite these misfortunes, Johnny Talbot seems to have grown up to be a fine and decent man, much respected locally, and serving as High Sheriff and Justice of the Peace for County Roscommon. A keen horseman, he also became master of the Roscommon Hunt, which often met at Mount Talbot. In 1897 he married a wealthy heiress, Julia Molyneux. Her family owned the Castle Dillon estate in County Armagh, which, rather like her husband, she'd inherited when still young. This meant that the couple were exceedingly wealthy, since they enjoyed the proceeds of two large estates, and although they had no children, they seemed very happy together. Very much stalwarts of county society, in August 1919 they hosted a garden party for Ireland's new Lord Lieutenant, John French, 1st Earl of Ypres. All continued well for the Talbots, until the onset of the War of Independence, and then the Civil War. During the first of these, British troops were garrisoned in the house and grounds of Mount Talbot, so the Talbots duly retreated to Castle Dillon. Then, following the signing of the treaty between the British state and the new Free State, at the start of 1922, they returned to Johnny Talbot's home. However, in early April of that year, a group of armed Republicans arrived at the house and assaulted the now elderly Johnny, giving the couple 24 hours to leave the place or face much worse. The next morning the Talbots departed for Dublin, never to return. Johnny went into a nursing home, Julia to the Royal Hibernian Hotel, where she died during the night, seemingly from shock brought on by the attack on Mount Talbot. Johnny died the following year in London without ever seeing his home again. Meanwhile, as the Civil War continued, Free State troops occupied Mount Talbot, which in July 1922 was attacked by anti-treaty forces who placed a mine under the main entrance and other bombs around the building. The resultant explosion caused considerable damage to the site. As mentioned, the Talbots had no children, and following Johnny's death, the estate was broken up by the Land Commission and the house permitted to fall into decay and ruin. All that remains today is a stump of the central block and one of the wings. No trace survives of the other wing, nor of either of the linking arcades. After all that John Talbot Sr. had done to ensure Mount Talbot remained in his family, and all the suffering he'd caused his first wife Marianne, literally driving her insane, this was the end result. Was the outcome really worth all that pain and misery? Thank you so much for watching the Irish Aesthete. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.